All right, so we're 6:02. We're on our last Good Neighbor meeting for the evening. This is a Good Neighbor meeting for Dahnovan Holdings, LLC. They've submitted a preliminary subdivision plat for a property that's just about 41.5 acres. It's highlighted in blue on your screen. It's located at the next to the water tower. So they've kind of named the subdivision Water Tower Place, which looks a little different than the one in Chicago. But a preliminary subdivision plat kind of lays out where the roads and streets and utilities would be brought to the property. This is kind of the first step in the subdivision process. Once they submit a preliminary plat and it's approved by City Council, the next step would be to submit construction plans for how it's actually going to be constructed. Then they would typically do construction, get all the infrastructure in. The city would accept those, the infrastructure and streets and things like that, and then they can get a final plat, and then they can begin building. Hopefully you can see my screen here. This is my arrow here. So the area that is along the south end of the property and the west end of the property adjacent to I-380 would be zoned, is going through the process right now to be zoned C3, which was just the same as the previous one that we just had. And the interior here in the north would be zoned RM12, which allows for multifamily. The concepts I've seen is predominantly been kind of a townhouse style of development. You see Madison Avenue continuing down here. This would be another public street here, and this would be a public street here. Again, not quite clear what the development would be over on this side. Again, would be consistent with that C3 type of development. Concepts I've seen for the interior here, and the north side is that townhouse style. So typically what you see is townhouses kind of fronting on Kansas Avenue with a private street down the middle, and then along the back, and then private streets kind of going north-south, and so access to the private streets would be via those private streets, and then they really wouldn't have vehicular access with respect to the multifamily to those public streets, which that's what the city prefers. And then not quite sure at this point what's going to happen with the commercial property, but again, I think they're open to working with some other developer for that type of use. Jeff, do you have anything you want to mention, or did I hog all your glory here? All right, I'm not sure where Jeff is, but I heard him earlier.
Oh.
Well, there we go.
Okay, so yeah, you're consistent with what we've stated, is that we want to do the multifamily area primarily ourselves, not that we wouldn't sell these lots. The C3 would more than likely be something we would sell, so therefore we don't really have anything to present until we get further along in the process and have the opportunity to present this to other builders, and then see what they bring to this to the city.
I know from the city's perspective, an RM12 made sense along that north end of the property because the property is directly to the north, and across the street are zoned RM12. And then as you move to the south of the property, you're getting some of those properties are changing, may change over to C3. I do see the potential possibly. It just takes the right developer, and construction costs are a little tough right now because everything's expensive and interest rates are very, very high. I could see the possibility for some, higher density commercial adjacent to I-380. I think that would be nice. I think it would kind of give North Liberty kind of that appearance as you're moving up the corridor up 380. But it takes take the right builder, because those are pretty big buildings. I know the New Yorker over at Tiffin is something that I could see something of that scale being appropriate for this location. Again, you're on 380, you're on major roads and things like that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see if that ever happens. So kind of with that, does anybody have any questions for me or Jeff? I know we had a lot of questions in the last one about kind of what the C3 district is. If anybody wants to reach out to me, I can kind of send you what all of those uses that are allowed in that district, seeing that they are in 12. Happy to do that. And all of these, if you just go to the Good Neighbor meeting and kind of scroll down, you'll see all of my contact information. I just Google North Liberty Good Neighbor meetings. That'll get you to our Good Neighbor meeting landing page. And then all these items are up. And then if you want to click on those items, scroll down to the bottom. Here's my contact information, Ryan Rusnak. You're certainly welcome to call me, email me. Happy to talk about any or all of these things. As I mentioned on the other one, this will go to our Planning Commission on November the 1st, and then it'll move on to City Council for 3 separate readings. And again, that meeting schedule would be November 22nd, December the 13th, and December the 27th. So there's tons of opportunity for public input. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to close this meeting, and Good Neighbor meeting requirements have been satisfied. Again, if anybody has any questions about anything, please contact me. That's what I'm there for. But otherwise, everybody have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.